Today we're going to be going over some scents that people will absolutely fall in love with at first sniff. And these are the type of things that have that captivating feature about them, whether it's something that turns your head, it's something you can't avoid, just very piercing, very strong in a good way, or maybe it's something a little bit more interesting and unique and something that you don't smell every day. These have whatever it takes to just smell good and get people's attention in a positive light, and so for a lot of you guys, I know that is kind of the end goal. That's what you're looking for when you're building up your collection, and that makes perfect sense, and there's nothing wrong with that. Don't let people tell you that it's not okay to be seeking for fragrances that smell good to people around you to get noticed, because it's really what gets all of us into this hobby at some point. From there, you can branch out, you can start trying some different things and kind of shift your interests. But I know for all of us starting out, it's because you want to smell good. There's nothing wrong with that. So we're sticking with designers here today, trying to keep it affordable. They're all relatively inexpensive here for the most part. A couple of them are maybe a little bit more, but we're still keeping it very reasonable. Let's get things kicked off with a new release, this year's new release from the line. It's already at discounters. It's been that way for a few months now, so this is one you can pick up for below retail now. It is AZZARO Chrome Parfum. So, the brands are hard at work churning out the parfums and the elixirs and everything like that. This is another one. And I'm sure we can only expect to see a chrome elixir at some point in the future, but we got a parfum now. And this one's really good. Going into it, I wasn't expecting a ton out of it. Now, Chrome Extreme is fantastic, and that one was and probably still is their best release in the Chrome line, but I have to say this is probably falling in very close right behind it. This one's got fir resin, bergamot, and sage. At least that's the only three notes that they give us, and it's a pretty fair note breakdown here. It's nowhere near as metallic as the original Chrome. It's a little bit more smooth, woody, with a little bit of a bergamot kind of sour kick in the opening, some aromatics coming into play in the mid. It smells great. Even though it kind of looks generic and kind of mainstream, it's a bit different. And yes, it still fits into the pretty mass-pleasing aromatic citrus category, for men's scents, right? That's a very common trend. But this one does do its own little thing here to kind of stand out in a different way. Next up, we have Antonio Banderas, the Icon. This is an eau de toilette, and this is the first of the line here. Okay, so this one, the note breakdown is going to look familiar to you. It's got grapefruit, black pepper, and lavender. So I guess maybe replace that grapefruit with bergamot, and then what does that look like? Maybe Sauvage EDT, and I'm here to tell you, it smells quite a bit like Sauvage EDT. What I like so much about it is, one, that pressurized atomizer. You cannot beat that. It really does give Dior a run for their money there, but also the price point. This is 20 bucks, Sauvage is 100 at discounters still. And also this one is not quite as, metallic and peppery and harsh as Sauvage itself. There's actually some notes going on in here to make it a little bit more smooth. It still follows that similar DNA, but just with a twist. I guess you could say maybe it's kind of similar to Luna Rosa Carbon in terms of the fact that it is a little bit more smooth, but we're talking a scent that is a fraction of the price of both of those. And yes, heavily inspired by Sauvage for sure, just with their own little twists and turns and a little bit more of a sweetness to this one compared to some of the others out there. I really like this stuff. If this was $50 or $60, it would be a different story. I would still like how it smells, of course, but when you can get this one for such a low price, it is a fantastic pickup. It's versatile, it's got great performance, it has great mass appeal. This is a DNA that just works and works and will continue to work for years and years at this point. You really can't go wrong with this stuff. Next up from Valentino, we have the original UOMO. Easy to sleep on this one, which is a shame, but I do recommend checking it out. It's got hazelnut, chocolate, leather, and coffee. I mean, the note breakdown looks and sounds delicious, and it is. It's a fantastic gourmand-leaning scent here. Nutty, chocolatey, a little bit of a roasted coffee bean twist. I mean, it smells fantastic, and you can see what they were doing and what they were building off of with UOMO Intense, because this obviously came first, but, when you smell this, and you're very familiar with UOMO Intense, you see the correlation there. Now, UOMO Intense is ramping it up with the iris and really focusing in on the leather. This one doesn't really have the iris here. It's Still going to be sweet and kind of powdery, just with a different type of style. And so if you're someone who doesn't like iris, but you like the bones of something like Valentino UOMO Intense, you could go for this one. It's just going to be a different twist. And again, it's easy to sleep on this one because UOMO Intense is the one that got the most amount of hype, and that's because it's an iris scent, kind of being a direct competitor to things like Dior Homme Intense, and Gentleman Eau de Parfum gets wrapped up in there as well. But yeah, for this one here, I think you can get this for a pretty fair $80 to $90 on discounters. It's much more reasonable than UOMO Intense. Maybe it's right around $100 even. It's very fairly priced given what you get in return with this one here. Unique, great performance out of it. It's got great quality, just fantastic stuff that turns heads and it's very memorable. Okay, up next we have Gucci Guilty Black. There's nothing too special about this one. I think we can all agree. It's one that got a good amount of hype, and a lot of it was outside of the community. It was kind of just one of those scents that took off. The mass market got a hold of it, and got to give credit where credit's due. If something like that happens, that's because they managed to work up a scent DNA that just connects with a lot of people, and that's kind of what they did here. This one's got green notes, lavender, and orange blossom in here. Very fresh, very clean, a little bit floral. If I didn't say it already, very green as well. I know I said clean, but it's a very green scent, no surprise. The orange blossom is giving it a floral, bright, kind of uplifting smell. The green notes is doing what you would expect that to do. Really, it smells fantastic for spring and early summer. It can work into late summer as well, but it is a little bit sweet, so it might not be your first choice. Musky. It has a very, and I hesitate to say this, and it's going to put some people off, but it kind of has a pretty smell to it. Like there's something just uplifting and just sparkling and pretty about this, and that's weird because it's a men's scent. And a lot of people aren't going to like me saying that. There's probably a better word to describe it, but it does smell fantastic. And it's not an overly masculine scent, as you could probably imagine me describing it as pretty. This is not your traditional type of men's scent, but it does work great. It is a compliment monster. That's why it is done so well, and it is incredibly versatile. Even though it's nothing that's like crazy unique, it's still the type of thing where even now, people are going to pick up on this. They're going to smell it. They're going to think it smells amazing right off the first sniff, and you can't go wrong with that. Next up, we have Carolina Herrera 212 Sexy for Men. Really want to show you this quickly as well. It's a tester. They go to great lengths to make sure it is a tester that is not for sale. So I don't know how we ever end up getting these, but it's just how it goes. So it does come with a cap. It is magnetic. Pretty solid magnetic cap, just like the other 212 bottles, although this one is just a different shape. Nice, solid presentation. Color is interesting, but, not bad. So this one's got vanilla, gaiac wood, and pepper here. It smells nice. Is it something that is groundbreaking? No, probably not. But for the price point, you're talking somewhere around in the $50, $60 range. It's a great vanilla. It's actually really good. Maybe it sounds like I'm downing it, but actually after smelling it again, that's a great atomizer, by the way, too. I'm trying not to completely fill up the room, but it's a good vanilla. It's on the more dusty and powdery side, more of a benzoin style, rather than being, syrupy, kind of like, a Mercedes-Benz Club Black or something, just comparing those. This is not like that. And so oftentimes you'll find with scents like Mercedes-Benz Club Black, that more syrupy style of vanilla, those scents are generally labeled as less masculine and kind of more on the unisex direction. With this type of vanilla, it's kind of similar to like an Armani Code Absolute style, where again, it's a little bit more dusty, powdery, and muted. It can be worked in better as a men's scent, and I think it generally will just go over a little bit better to the mass market, and that explains it because it's a Carolina Herrera 212 scent. You get some woods going on in here as well. It smells really nice. I do like it a lot. I kind of forgot how good it was. But it's the type of thing that people are going to smell and they're going to like, And sure, it's more of a mass market scent, but I don't really foresee too many people out there running around, rushing out to buy and wear 212 Sexy for Men here in 2023, going on to 2024 already, which is crazy to say. So you can pull this one off and smell really unique for what it's worth. Okay, let's go for Bentley for Men Silverlake up next. I want to say right around $60. For whatever reason, this one has always been a little bit more expensive, although now I'm thinking about it and I can't remember if it's still for 60 or not. I'm going to go with 60, aiming high. Maybe it's a bit lower by now, I'm not sure. So what's this one all about? It's got violet leaves, lemon, and mint. I've always described this one as kind of like a Acqua di Gio Essenza slash Acqua di Gio Profondo slash Acqua di Gio smell. Kind of a hybrid scenario there of a few of the Acqua di Gios. Why Essenza? Well, because Essenza focused quite a bit on the green notes and the aromatics, more so than, you know, the original, and nowadays even more so than what the EDP does now, and all of the others basically. Essenza was a fantastic one. You know, when I was first getting started, it was one that you could pick up all over the place on discounters, just like you could pick up Acqua di Gio, you know, EDP now, or even the original now. It's everywhere. That's how Essenza was. And it was great. Ended up getting a bottle. I bought a big 180 ml, still have it, just it's low now. I decanted a lot of it out, which was a big move, or big mistake, because now, or has been for a while, Essenza discontinued. So because you can't buy that one anymore, this is a nice substitute. It's not a one-to-one clone, but it gets you in a similar ballpark, focusing on the green notes, the aromatics, even the woods. So I like it for that reason. Musky, fresh, green, minty, watery. I like it a lot, I really do. And I wish I would have bought several more bottles of Essenza back in the day when you can pick them up super easily. But, you know, you don't really have to worry about it too much. This one gets you in the same ballpark, again, for around mid $50 to $60 range. Okay, let's keep it rolling with L'Odyssey Pour Homme Intense by MIYAKE. This one's got yuzu, incense, papyrus, alongside a bunch of other notes. Huge note breakdown on this one. So what I like so much about it is it's their attempt at kind of a fresher citrus scent that is doing something different. You know, the yuzu and stuff is kind of a staple within this line, of course. But outside of this line, yuzu isn't used a ton. It's not like a bergamot or a grapefruit or even an apple or something. You know, it's not like that. But also, you know, it's combining that with incense and papyrus. So the incense obviously giving it a smokiness. And so the papyrus, it gives it a little bit of a spicy kick as well. You know, you think Bleu de Chanel when you think of kind of a citrus scent mixed with incense. Now, this smells nothing like Bleu de Chanel, but man, is it good. It is very distinctly woody, and what you're picking up on here off the top, a lot of, is that papyrus. It is such, I don't want to say a familiar smell, but it's very distinct, I guess, going back to that word. And also, to me, it is a familiar smell because growing up, I spent a lot of times outdoors in the woods, and I probably wasn't around papyrus, of course, but that note just has it kind of reminds me of just being out in nature, just out in the woods. It's woody, it's smoky, it smells great. So because of that, you know, this scent is kind of nostalgic for me. Even though I wasn't wearing it back in the day, I just got this a couple years ago. There's just a lot of compounds and a lot of mixtures going on in here that reminds me of just enjoying the outdoors, like pine trees, pine needles, that sort of smell. I really like it for that reason. This stuff is great. And it's, I think, $35 to $40. It's very inexpensive, which is great. And this is a 125 ml bottle as well. So great price per mil, something unique. You're not going to be smelling this all over the place. Definitely one to check out. And we're going to end things off with John Varvatos Artisan Pure. It's all about the clementine, the neroli, the orange, the mandarin, all of that stuff. Petitgrain as well. It's earthy, it's green, it's citrusy and fresh, a little bit sweet from the orange. It's musky as well, clean, smells great. Such a vibrant and uplifting DNA. Great for springtime, kind of out of season now for a lot of us here, but it's one you could pick up now, stash away till spring, or if you're still having some warm fall days, there's no reason why you can't wear this one. This is very unique, all things considered. The fact that it's a $35 to $40 scent, it's in reach for a lot of people. If you're shopping on discounters, it's easily obtainable. The price is not outrageous. You can pick it up, you can wear it, you're going to smell unique, because a lot of guys out there are going to want nothing to do with this. So definitely one that's going to turn heads big time for a low cost. Alrighty guys, that's going to do it for me. Some fragrances that people will fall in love with at first sniff. Now's the time to be on the hunt for fragrance deals and all that sort of thing here. End of the year, now through, the end of the year going into early 24. It's going to be a great time. A lot of sales, a lot of restocks coming up. So make sure you jump on my mailing list and texting list at the link and number down below. I'll get you squared away. You'll be the first to know of any sales and any big restocks. Thank you so much for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy. We'll see you tomorrow with another one. Take care.